Today marks 1235th day sharing lessons I learn and continue to learn with all of you. My hope that these insights will inspire you, support your teams, help you achieve your goals, and really empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today speak about reasons for change. Every single person has a reason for change. But not every single person is willing to change. Today I'll speak about foundational things about change. I think that we understand that every single person has multiple reasons for change. Someone wants to really to change to improve life, wants to make more money, have better relationships, all those things. But today we'll focus on a bigger picture of change. Why we're supposed to change? Why we're supposed to look into change is something that is very, very important for us and is impossible to live without change. And I will share 7 things, seven ideas that we able to reflect on when we think about change. Number 1, change is nature of reality. I think that's very, very important. Sometimes we want to resist change. We want to keep as it is. But I think that's one thing is that understanding is that we're not able to stuck in one position. It's an illusion. It's an illusion because if you say that you're not changing, that means the world changing around you anyways. So if it's still changing, you're still adapting. So that means that everything is changing. So when you think about it, that we start looking at that change is part of a reality, that's what it is. I think that we're supposed to really take that change full-fledged because I know that sometimes we resist change. But when you resist change, that means that we want to live in illusion, trying to really, almost like pursuing perfection. There's no perfection, and there's no life without change. It's always changing. So that means if you're trying to live a life without change, that means to be trying to live in illusion. Because true power comes from a flow with change, not control, because we're not able to control all the change. We're able to control, influence things, but not all. Number 2, growth requires the depth of the old. I think it's very, very important. You need to understand that we're not able to have your old identity and new identity in the same place. We're not able to have old and new in the same place. That means if you want to have 2 things at the same time, it will not gonna work. You're not able to have day and night at the same time. That's day or night. I think that the same is with real identity. Sometimes you're not able to have 2 at the same time. You're not able to live 2 different lives at the same time. Now, some people try, but I think that we need to understand that when we think about change, we making a full transition from to one to another. Not because I think that when we try to do like in the morning we live one identity, in the evening we live other identity, I think that is a massive misalignment, and of course it will be struggle to live that life. And I think that we need to always say that who you are today must die, so that the person who you become could born. One of the favors my saying is that sometimes we need to kill our old identity inside to really bring that new version of ourselves. And that's again part of the change. And I think one of the most important changes, because who we were as a child, I think that we need to sometimes understand it is not enough to really achieve the biggest success that we have set for ourselves, and being able to really adjust our character, adjust our traits, adjust things that we need to adjust just to make sure that we're able to get to new version of ourselves. Number 3, and this is very, very important. This is very, very important. Even sometimes I have a goosebumps even saying that suffering comes from resistance and not change. I will repeat it one more time because it's such a powerful thing. Suffering comes from resistance, not change. So what I mean by that is that we suffer because we resist change. We resist going and doing something differently. We're really trying to hold on what we have. Sometimes even though that you want that out there, what is out there, and you're suffering in this adversity much, much longer because of the resist change. So that means that resistance creates suffering. Change doesn't create suffering. Change is uncomfortable. Change creates a lot of emotions, but it's not suffering emotions. Most of them is all other emotions. But those all other emotions is like fear, that doubt are much, much better than suffering. So how long are you willing to suffer until you will really be able to really go to that change so you don't need to suffer anymore? And freedom comes when you stop clinging and start embracing that change. So powerful. This is one of the powerful ideas about change. Stagnation, number 4, stagnation leads to decay. And this is probably one of the most important parts. What you don't use, you lose. What you don't use, you lose. With the muscles, if you don't exercise, you lose it. With cognitive power, if you don't think, you lose it. If with emotional, if you're not able to really always regulate your emotions, you lose the ability to regulate your emotions. That means it's very, very important to be able to change, to improve, to get better. I think that's we're not able to maintain without changing. So that means if you want to really grow, improve, that means that we need to change the way how we approach things. Because I think that one thing is that when you develop, for example, muscle, and you are able to lift 100 pounds, and after that 100 pounds becomes very light for you. And if you want to really change, you want to improve, you need to change the weight. You need to include something else. Exactly with the cognitive, with the emotional stability, emotion regulation. So that means that you're able to really expand what kind of things you're able to do and be calm and be engaged is very, very important. Because for this one is that if you do not change, life will change you. Such a powerful thing. Because so that if I love the saying that if you're not able to allocate 1 hour a day to your health, that is physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, at some point your life will allocate 24 hours of your life to that health. Because of course there is something go wrong because of that, so we need to change. Number 5, your identity is an illusion. I think that I already mentioned that we need to really sometimes die inside to really bring that new version. But I think that the other part that I want to mention is that sometimes when we think about change, we think that we are losing something. But you don't lose the core of ourselves. What we're doing is like we are like onions. Probably you ever said that. People are like onions. We lose those layers. But those layers is not as important. We don't lose the core, so that means that those shells that we're able to remove it and add some maybe new shells that make sure that we're able to really be the best version of ourselves. So those layers that we shed are not helping us. Those layers that we shed is not helping us to get where we want. So that means that it's sabotaging us. So we need to add layers. The character traits, the behaviors, routines, actually that helping us to move forward. It's very, very important. Because I think that is very, very important when you actually understand that you're able to adjust your identity, that you understand that your identity is not fixed. At that moment you become limitless because you know that how much you're able to do. Number 6 is the unknown holds your greatest potential. The unknown holds your greatest potential. Because I think that there's a lot of times we think about, okay, I want this one. Specifically, it's great to have specific goals, but I think that when I think about specific goals, there will be a lot of unknowns. And when really moving in towards that unknown, I think that we're able to really find the best gifts, the best blessings, the most important things. It's such a powerful thing that when we're able to really step beyond the safety, beyond the place where I feel comfortable, beyond the things that maybe is a massive stretch for you right now. I think that's a big thing, and I think that I love that you don't achieve your success yet because you're not able to do something yet. And if you want to do something that you're not able to do right now, that means that you will need to do what you never did before. And if you never did before, that means that it will be uncomfortable. And if it's that uncomfortable, that means it is a change. It's a change. It's a change something in your behavior. So that means if you want to really move into the greatest potential, we need to really change what kind of comfort level do we have in our lives. Because that greatest potential is outside of our circle. That's very powerful about change. And change leads to awakening. I think that is very, very important. I think that that's when you really embrace life fully. You stop fearing things, start living, because I think it's a beautiful thing when you start really being joyful about ability to see yourself changing, improved, and you're able to really look back into a month ago, 2 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, and the way how you change, how you improved, the things that maybe things change in a wrong way, and it's like this path was not the best path for me, so okay, let's adjust it, and really being able to reflect on your decision making process, reflect on surroundings, and really say that okay, I want change, but I want better change. I want to faster change. That means that even though that change is one small word, but there is so much more about change that potentially we could discuss. The speed of change, the quality of change, what do you do to change, where are you looking for change, like the mentors as well. Like there's so many things that we need to think about change, but I think the reason for change is inside of you, and you need to find it. One last thing that I want to mention about reason for change is that a lot of times people make the reason for change as excuse. So that I'm busy, I'm not able to really do a business. Because you're busy, that's the main reason to do a business. You could really free your time. People say like, I don't have money to invest in developing my skill set. I don't have money to invest in that. And again, this is an excuse, because this is exactly, if you, I love what my mentor said, that if you can't, you must. If you can't, you must. What it means is that if you can, that means that you need to change that. That means you must do that, because otherwise you will use this excuse as a sabotage, as a break in your life, and this bottleneck of your life, and being able to say, oh, I don't have it. Exactly the same like as people say, I don't have courage to do that. A lot of times at the beginning of your change, you need to do something without courage, without confidence, and when you do that, you get courage, you get confidence, and when you don't have money, and when you find a way how to get money and you invest, at that moment you get money. And that could be a big massive topic, but as I said, you need to find your reasons and not use those reasons as excuse. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.